Andrea Gibson, beloved poet of vulnerability and resistance, dies at 49, cause of death and final words revealed. Boulder, Colorado, July 14th, 2025. Andrea Gibson, the acclaimed poet and spoken word artist whose fearless honesty helped redefine modern poetry, has died at the age of 49. Their passing, confirmed by family, came after a long battle with ovarian cancer, a fight they shared publicly and courageously. Known for weaving together themes of queerness, illness, mental health, love, and justice with lyrical precision, Gibson became one of the most beloved and influential voices in contemporary poetry. Their final words, written in a quiet moment during hospice care, were simple yet deeply characteristic of their spirit. Every heartbreak made me softer. I never regretted softness. A radical voice for tenderness. Born in Maine in 1975, Andrea Gibson rose from the underground slam scene of the early 2000s to become a nationally celebrated voice in poetry. They were known not just for what they wrote, but for how they lived, intentionally, compassionately, and without apology. For more than 2 decades, Gibson toured the country, filling theaters with people who came not just to hear poems, but to feel permission. Permission to be queer, to grieve, to be angry, to heal. They published best-selling poetry collections like You Better Be Lightning and The Madness Vase, blending raw emotion with biting social critique. Their live performances were electric, part confessional, part call to action. Gosh. Public-facing, private strength. In 2021, Gibson revealed their diagnosis of ovarian cancer, not in a press release, but in a poem. They chronicled their illness online with radical vulnerability, offering readers a glimpse into their physical pain, spiritual questioning, and enduring hope. Despite the illness, Gibson never stopped writing. In their final months, they released an audio poetry collection titled Light Leaks, a raw and luminous meditation on impermanence. Friends say Andrea never feared dying. They feared leaving others behind in their own pain. Outpouring of love and tributes. News of Gibson's death triggered a flood of tributes from fans, fellow poets, LGBTQ+ leaders, and mental health advocates. Glennon Doyle, best-selling author, wrote, "Andrea didn't just write poems. They wrote permission slips for the rest of us to feel." Ocean Vuong, poet and novelist, tweeted, "Andrea Gibson was a lighthouse, fierce, gentle, honest. We will keep their fire burning." A legacy of light and language. Gibson's work lives on not only in books and recordings, but also in the hearts of the countless people who saw themselves reflected in their art. Their family has announced the formation of the Gibson Legacy Project, an organization that will fund LGBTQ+ poetry programs, creative therapy for chronically ill artists, and scholarships for gender-diverse youth. Andrea believed in the power of words to save lives, their sister said in a statement. This foundation will ensure that mission lives on. Conclusion. Andrea Gibson lived their life as a poem, raw, unfinished, full of truth and tenderness. They gave us language for things we didn't know how to say, and in doing so helped thousands find their voice. Their final words, "Every heartbreak made me softer. I never regretted softness," now echo as a call to live bravely and to feel without shame. In a world too often hardened, Andrea remained soft, and in that softness, there was power.